Well, you've heard the old adage, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And when it comes to retirement planning, couples need to make sure that they are on the same planet. So our favorite retirement duo is back today to help couples stay on track. Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group, known for their segments with us, of course, as well as their radio show, Winning Retirement. And Kristen, I want to talk with you about couples fight over finances. We know that, but why do those fights tend to get more intense as they are nearing those retirement years?
Well, it's a transition, right? And whenever there's a transition in life, we all get a little nervous, a little anxious, a little bit on the weary side. And so what we find with couples when they come in is sometimes there's not been discussions on how roles are going to change when you're entering into these retirement years, right? The woman's used to being the boss of the home. Of course, that's changing a little bit. A lot of working ladies out there. But even still, you know, you're the boss at home, and now you've got this husband that's had this role as head honcho at his office, and now he's coming home and having to deal with the wife being in charge, right?
Right.
Yeah, so and he thinks he's going to be in charge, but everybody knows that ain't happening, right?
You know that, right? Yeah.
At least Greg knows that.
He knows. No, so what, in all seriousness, what we find is a lot of times the woman's threshold for risk is a lot lower than the husband's.
Right.
Okay, but then on the flip side of that, we find that sometimes women are in more risky investments than they realize they're in. So there's this disconnect that's happening.
Okay, so that makes sense, and we'll put this out there for a second. First, Greg, you're not a marriage counselor. Let's just, get that out of the way. But I'm sure it sometimes feels like you are when you're in these situations with folks and you're trying to kind of put them on from two different pages onto the same path, right?
Well, that's true, and there's a reason we keep a box of tissues in our conference room. There really is, because there's times where people just, when we finally get people to open up enough to where they really display what's truly in their heart, it's amazing how many times couples for the first time will realize the desire of their spouse. It's amazing, really. In fact, one couple recently, she found out he was getting ready to retire in 3 months in our office.
Oh, that was interesting.
Yes. So literally getting people to share what their goals are, their true concerns are, what they need financially, and what their really what their expectation of retirement truly is.
Yeah, and we're being a little jovial about it, but really it's a good meeting place, because then you have someone that's kind of like a liaison between the two to help you communicate. It's not unusual to have trouble communicating with finances, right? That's one of the biggest issues in marriages.
That couples face,
financial conversations. So it's actually a good thing to have these conversations with someone that can be a neutral party in the conversation.
So communication, obviously, first and foremost, something that you say people should do. And then the other thing is make finances a dual responsibility. So don't let one person handle everything. And that does happen in a lot of homes, a lot of relationships.
Yeah, and from a woman's perspective, that just leads to more confidence. If you're a lady and you're not handling anything with your finances, and you start truly thinking about estate planning and things in the future, and know that women typically outlive men, it's just a smart thing to do to at least have a handle on what it is you are doing as a couple with your finances.
That's true, and I can tell you this, that on more than one occasion, I've sat in a widow's living room on the floor with a bunch of boxes, and they're saying, Greg, can you help me sort all this stuff out? And literally, I've spent hours just trying to help people find out where they were, because they never took a role. And it's so very important that both people be on the same page, understand the direction they're going, and then let one another know, so that there's no secrets, really.
I was going to say, don't keep secrets from each other, because that's what you need to make everything. I mean, you don't want to go through a funeral, lose your spouse, and then you're stuck with that.
Exactly.
In the end. Okay, so as a way you're going to help, guide these couples as co-responsible retirement plan you have here. So you have a really good offer for them.
Well, we do, and in our world, we call it our complete planning review, because there's really 5 core areas that people need to pay attention to. We want to look at all 5 and make sure nothing's slipping through the cracks. So we call it the complete planning review, and the first 10 callers, could be a couple or a single person, can come in and meet with us. And as a thank you, and just kind of a way for them to get to know more about us and where we're coming from, I'd like to send out, we finally got new hard copies of my book, Winning Retirement, back in because we were out. We'll include that so they can read up on it, learn more, and have that confidence that they're looking for.
Okay, and it is important to sit down, especially with a couple like you, if you're trying to figure it out,
is.
right? Because you guys can really help them navigate and come up with a smart plan.
Yeah, and actually people often say they really enjoy having both of us because I come from more the woman's perspective and I kind of can help be that voice if she's having trouble communicating how she's feeling. And Greg, of course, is there. So it just works out really well, we find.
All right. Well, thank you guys both for being with me as always.